I didn't know the only way I was going to get out is either go to trial and face 10 years or possible 10 years in prison, or they banish me, give me 5 years probation with banishment. So they're going to kick me out the city. I end up finding out how to get on red carpets and how to apply for media credentials. And they was letting me in the BET Awards. They was letting me in the Billboard Awards. I went everywhere but the Grammys, but pretty much any award show, I was there.
What's up, family? I'm Six, and this is the Crime Chronicles. Today, we have a special guest. I have been on this guy via Instagram, and I've saw the Matt Cox interview, and I'll leave the link in the description below. But this guy is special. His name, Hustleman, embodies what he's got going on, man. He's been a TV personality. He's respected in the streets, philanthropist. He's given back to the community, done a lot of the community stuff. He's been an artist. He's been in that field with all the kind of community, the urban kind of scene. Um, I don't know. He's done interviews with some top notch head of the crowd guys. You know what I mean? Like this guy is connected, has been connected, is still going through connections. Ladies and gentlemen, this hustle man. How you doing, bro?
What's going on, man? Glad to be here, man. For sure.
Man, I'm with you, man. I love the hustle man moniker, like
Yeah.
because that's how I am. Every day is a grind. Every single day, man. But it always wasn't like this, man. How did it all get started?
Man, we can take it back to a kid, man. I'm from Valdosta, Georgia, born and raised. If you don't know about Valdosta, that's the most winningest high school football team, the Valdosta Wildcats in the
Okay.
nation.
Shout out to the Wildcats.
Yeah, so if you don't know them by anything else, that's what they're most known for. And of course, the Kendrick Johnson. I don't know if you know about the Kendrick Johnson, the young man that was rolled up in the wrestling mat that they
No,
found a few years ago.
no.
Yeah, they said he was reaching for a shoe and fell in the mat, but really evidence led to something else, but nobody been charged to this day. So that's probably one of the most known things outside of football that about us is known for. But definitely came up in the country, you from the country, and I tried my best to bring the city to the country. And yeah, it was always like that, trying to do music and be creative and do something outside the box than most of my peers was doing. So that's always been me.
So how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Man, I'm 44 years old.
Okay, so you
44.
you grew up in a time where like hustlers were hustling.
Yeah.
You weren't
Yeah.
just scrolling. Like if you
Yeah.
wanted to hustle and get some money, you had to beat them feet. Like
Yeah.
you had to
Yeah.
go out there and get it. So
You had to get it, man. And one thing different about me, I never wanted to sell. I never wanted to get in the dope game or nothing like that. I had to be smart because everybody else was going down with that. So even as a kid, I would sell my He-Man toys to buy Ninja Turtles.
yes,
You know
sir.
what I'm saying? My folks, once they buy you one toy, that was it. You don't need no more toys. You got a toy. But I wanted Ninja Turtles. I wanted to, so
We're
that
gonna trade
started
up.
out early, doing that, setting up the table outside, doing yard sales, making my own money at 7, 8 years old. I always wanted to provide my own. No, I didn't take no too well. So if you tell me no, I'm gonna figure out a way to get what I want.
Yep.
So, my folks was cool with that. So even at 7, 8 years old, I was a hustler. And you know, That's how it all started.
Hmm. So what you know what intrigues me about your story, man, is the DVD stuff.
Yeah,
Because I was during that time and the bootleg and all that. So in New York, bootleg is huge. You know,
yeah,
out of the country, it's bigger because they don't
yeah,
have the same trademark laws and rules. So if you
right.
come out with a product, I can come out with a product that's almost looks like yours,
Yeah.
but so like the bootleg game was huge. You make any money doing that?
I made pretty good money. It didn't start out that way. It was small time. Started out with mixtapes. This back in the Napster, LimeWire days, even back when it was dial up. So all the dial up internet. These kids don't know about that.
No, man.
So man, it would take probably 20 minutes just to download one song. Streaming and all that wasn't even a thought. That wasn't even thought of, but we found a way to get music. And later the movies came into play, but it started with mixtapes. I had an old 84 Cutlass with the rims on it. I had switches on it and all that. Had the music in it. So people, when I drive around, I always had like all the music. And people was like, yo, can you make one of them for me? I'm like, man, that junk took so long. I'm like, I really just make them for myself, but give me $10, I'll make you one. And that's kind of how that was my introduction into the bootleg game, making
Mhm.
mixtapes.
That
And
person told that person, where you get that? Oh, my friend, such and such, and now you got
yeah,
four orders.
yeah,
But I remember like it took time. You
yeah,
either had to have the equipment or because
right,
you were actually bar for bar
yeah,
recording this,
yeah.
that's time, man. If you wanted to hustle and make some money, man, you had to put in some work,
You
man.
had to put in some work. Then I was doing music myself, so I would do, my guys along with myself. I would put our music on there with the known artists. So when they buy the mixtape, you gotta hear me
Oh,
too. You might see a
you
song or
in
two
there.
from me.
Okay, okay.
So uh and I called them the Roll With It mixtapes. That was the name of my label, but I also called them, my mixtape line, Roll With It Records was my thing. So putting out those mixtapes, you go to the guys, you go to where they hook up speakers, you just find guys at different spots where people hang out. Hey, I got the CDs. They, at that time, $10, give me three for 20, something like that. And started to build a little rep because I always kept the job. But for the things I wanted to do, the job wasn't gonna cut the mustard, as they say.
Right.
So, you know,
It wasn't making them ends meet.
for sure, for sure. So yeah, man. And then I had a daughter. I recently had a daughter around that time too. So yeah, with child support already eating this little check up, had to make some extra in. So it started with the mixtape, Pop the Trunk, CDs. I'm gonna tell you how bootleg and how early on I was. I used, what the dish drain that you put your dishes in.
Yeah.
I used one of those to hold the CDs because it got the little where the plates go.
Oh, the
I
section.
had the CDs in the dish drain, bro, and it made them sit up just right so the people could kind of flip through them. So it started with that, and then I met a guy that had the DVDs. And the DVDs were still kind of new. People were still selling VHS. But I tapped in with the DVDs and I would buy wholesale from him starting off. And to be honest, his nickname was Hustleman originally. That was him, but I took that Hustleman name to another level. People started calling. I didn't tell people to call me that. That's the name they gave me.
Mhm.
So I was buying wholesale from him, but he couldn't produce because one thing about me, when I do something, I do it pretty big. So it got to the point where he couldn't supply me. So he put me on to somebody else. And I started getting wholesale from them because they had duplicators and I didn't have that yet. I was just using my computer at the time. So it got to the point where he couldn't supply me either because I'm working my way up the totem pole. So I'm like, only way I can do this is get my own duplicator.
Hmm.
So I ended up getting a 10 burner off rip. And I think they had like 3 burners. And those were super expensive. I think I spent like $1,500
Mm.
for a 10 burner. But man, that right there changed the whole game.
Dang. Now you're moving pot. You moving weight.
I'm moving weight now.
Right.
So we used to go to Atlanta. You know, I'm in Valdosta at the time. I'm in Atlanta now, but at the time I was in Valdosta. We would go to Atlanta to the flea market, get the DVDs, bring them back, and burn hundreds of them. But it got to the point where it was hard to get what you really needed. You go all the way to Atlanta, they ain't even really got the hot stuff.
Right.
So I met a guy named Fresh, young guy, computer savvy. He knew how to get them online. A lot of people didn't know how to get the movies online. They knew how to get the CDs, but they didn't know how to get
And know how to get the
movies.
movies right.
So when I brought him into my life, man, he got on the computer and started typing. There was like some matrix stuff going on, all kind of stuff. Next thing you know, I had movies.
And
So
that
I'm
was
like,
the
oh
real
yeah,
dope back then because you hit or miss with your
yeah,
mixtapes and if they'll like them, but
right,
those box office, them
yeah,
blockbusters gonna
yeah,
sell.
yeah, yeah. We was doing it. And of course, the main sellers are the ones that's still at the theater. So
I want to see some people walking by.
yeah,
I want to hear some phones ringing.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So,
Mhm.
um, and like I always say, Tyler Perry. Thank you, Mr. Tyler Perry. I'm sorry for my mischievous deeds,
We
but you
always
made
have.
me a lot of money in the hood. A
Hmm.
lot of money, man. They bought Tyler Perry like the plays, the movies, anything he dropped, I would make hundreds.
Georgia wanted, Georgia loved Tyler Perry.
Yes, yes. The whole
Georgia
South, but
loved,
Georgia.
mhm. Georgia
So
loved Tyler Perry. I was out in, where did I stay? Riverdale.
yeah, yeah.
Riverdale.
Riverdale.
So I was out in Riverdale for a few years and I was scheming, scamming. I came up on somebody's military card and it
Yeah,
was like their canteen card or something and it had money on it. I was like, where do I sign? So I held this thing for a little while. Anyway, one day I'm doing nothing. I'm gonna go by the base. So I clicked and Google where's the nearest base. I'd never been to one. I'm gonna figure something out. Hop in the car and I drive to the nearest base and it's guarded off and it's got Tyler Perry on it. So I'm like,
yeah,
what? I thought that this was, oh no, no, this has been closed down. Tyler Perry bought it
yeah,
and now it's gonna make this studio. I'm like, Tyler Perry's buying the Marines.
yeah,
What kind of money Tyler Perry got?
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, so I know that studio out there is huge.
It's huge, bro. It's huge. I actually been out there before for BT was doing some award show, and I was out there for that. Man, it's amazing, bro. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
it speaks volumes that it can host the BET,
Right.
whatever venue.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever you want to do. But yeah, man. Tyler Perry, one of the top dogs. You know that black. Pretty much, I had Tubi before Tubi. They love the black movies. They love the Tyler Perrys. They like the blockbusters. But I had everything, the X-rated stuff, everything. So when you come to me, I'm the one-stop shop. You can go to Blockbuster and get all of this. I was finding everything.
X to G.
X to G. It was everything, and then I would put multiple movies on one DVD. So you might have all the Fridays on one disc. You might have like 10 different cartoons or whatever type of all Martin's greatest hit, Denzel greatest. Put it all on DVDs, and I was making this stuff just coming up with ideas. and people was buying it, man. So starting out, I probably, I was getting a little extra couple $100, for a few years, couple hundred. Then it went to a couple thousand. Till it got to the point where I was bringing in about 10 bands a week selling DVDs. Nobody
Mhm.
knew it. They thought I was doing something else, but I was trapping. Strictly DVDs.
Strictly DVDs.
Strictly DVDs. It was nuts. One person pull up, they leave, another person pull up. It was the real trap. And man, I had a room set up like Blockbuster. I had the
Oh, so you would do it
displays.
out there. You weren't at posted up like at a gas
Nah,
station or whatever.
we was past that. I that's what I did at first, traveling, going places, trying to post up and selling at the job. The job really took. I was working at Lowe's distribution, so I was working a warehouse job. So I'm riding around. It's hundreds of people at this job, so it might be 500, 600 people in this warehouse at one time. So that network is huge, and then they spread the word, and they
Hmm.
people spread the word. Next thing you know, the whole city of Valdosta. And then I was already kind of known because I did music. So as the word spread, man, pretty much all the video. We had a place called Video Warehouse where people would rent videos from. We had several of those, Blockbusters, Hollywood, all those places. I like to blame it on uh Netflix and stuff and the red boxes when they came out. But really, I
But you
probably
ain't help.
helped.
You
Yeah,
ain't help.
yeah, I
Them
didn't help
people
at
ain't
all.
3, 4 people a day going to Blockbuster because they
Yeah,
going to hustle, man.
yeah, they definitely, because I'm selling you the DVD for the price that you renting it for.
That you're renting them from.
You can own it.
So did you have like the case? You put
I
a
had the
little,
whole, yeah, it was just like the store.
yeah,
Had the
yeah,
picture on the front case. You open it up, it just
yeah.
like
You
it came
open
from the store.
it. Yeah, I knew a guy or two that they would get into it,
Yeah,
and like the serious guys, they have the case, they got the cover,
yeah,
they got the A, the B. So let me
man.
ask you this. So how did that like progress like during those times? And of course, we moved into the digital age
Right.
and everything. So how did that change your hustle, man?
Well, before the everybody went digital, I got in trouble before that era even came along. So I got so big with the DVDs, I actually put my commercials, because like I said, I'm doing music, and I always vowed that I wouldn't do music after 30. If I don't really make nothing pop off, I'm done by 30. So once I got around 26, 25, 26, I'm like, I might need to start thinking of something else. So I love the entertainment business so much, I started the Hustleman show where I would interview celebrities or other artists. And I had built a few relationships in the game doing music. And I ended up finding out how to get on red carpets and how to apply for media credentials. And they was letting me in the BET Awards. They was letting me in the Billboard Awards. I went everywhere but the Grammys, but pretty much any award show, I was there just to cover the red carpet. And I know so much about entertainment, I could ask a question from the dome because
Right.
I know, oh, that's Fat Joe. Oh, that's Rick Ross. Oh, that's T.I. I know just what to ask them because I
You
love
know
to,
what's going on with them.
I know what's going on. So I started putting that on the DVDs, my commercials, and then other people wanted commercials. So I was charging people to put their commercials on the DVDs. And this was like almost like cable, the way I was doing things. Like you're gonna see these commercials before the movies come on.
Yep, all
And I'm
these
getting
people that
paid.
you touched, the
Yeah,
hundreds of people that you were touching,
yeah,
these are free ads, or these
right,
are ads that you can buy.
right. So we was making money all that way. But one thing about it, I made such a name for myself and I was so accessible, people was coming to me asking for help. Hey man, my house burned down. Can you help me? Because I did stuff for the kids. I did stuff in the community. So I became the go-to guy when people in need. So a lady brought a laptop to me and she was like, listen, I'm hurting. I need a few dollars. I got this old laptop. Man, you can just give me $50 for it. I think it was 50, 100, whatever it was a low number. So I'm like, man, I don't really want it, but for that price, cool. This thing had
Do
a,
something with it.
yeah, I could do something. My guy Fresh, like I said, he was the tech guy. He could fix that up. I could probably squeeze 250, 300, and that's petty money compared to what I'm making. But I'm like, I do it. So I end up getting,
All that is just turning that $50 bill into
yeah,
all that small money add
yeah,
up.
it add up. So I end up selling the laptop to a lady, and the computer end up crashing out at some point. Instead of bringing it back to me to see if we could repair it, she put it in the shop. They looked at it and seen that it came from the tech school, and it was reported stolen in like 98. Mind you, this is like 2009. so so uh I guess all that stuff was still on record. They questioned her like, "Yo, where you get this laptop from?" And man, she gave them the whole rundown.
She couldn't point the finger fast enough.
Oh, she became a whole police. She came to the crib with a wire on and everything.
No.
She told them I had, she told them about the DVDs. So they weren't even at the DVDs, but she told him he got a room in there that's like Blockbuster. He got other computers that probably for sale, but really I was using them, the majority of them, to burn the DVDs and stuff. And she gave him the whole rundown, man. So that day came, she came to the house. I had no clue. She came by early with a wire on, and she was looking for another computer, but at the same time, she wanted to buy some DVDs too. So I just so happened I had a desktop computer, and it was old too. But I'm like, hey, give me $150, man. Take this little desktop. I can get rid of that and then get me a more up to date one. And that was the setup. They was across the street in a van, surveillance, doing surveillance, and now they got me. So probably a few hours later, they came to the door. Boom, 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 boom. You know how they come.
There's only one department that not like that. Well, two.
Yeah,
The
right.
police and the Jehovah's Witness.
There you go.
They're pretty aggressive. So
There you go. So of course they holler Lowndes County. I'm like, cause see, I never expected police, cause nobody ever getting jammed up for DVDs, even though I'm big.
and not no house knock
Yeah,
knock
yeah.
type shit. Yeah.
I'm not suspecting that. So I got cameras, I can see them. I'm like, I know they ain't coming by DVDs. So I'm trying to figure out a way out. They had me surrounded. So boom, they kicked down the door, had me on the floor, guns to your head, move, we'll blow your brains out, all this type of stuff. So in my mind, I'm thinking, this is a lot for DVDs, you know? And
In my head, I'm thinking that too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole time, they put me in handcuffs, they taking everything out the house, the news channel coming out, the whole nine. And I'm like, yo, I'm not knowing I got set up about old raggedy laptop. But of course, the DVDs got caught up in the mix too, because that's illegal too. So that by the time I got down to the jail, then I got a chance to see my charges. But I didn't even know who set me up. I didn't know how all this came about. I dealt with so many people. This could have came from anywhere. I'm dealing with hundreds of people a week, so this could have came from anywhere. And I had my money. I had some in the bank because I had legit business license, the whole nine. But you doing something illegal, that don't matter. And I had money in a safe in my roof. So even though they arrested me, I'm still a little cocky. I'm still a little secure that I'm about to get out of here because I got a little stash. So whatever y'all think y'all got, it's cool. I'm gonna maneuver my way out. So they got me in the interrogation room, and they trying to ask me like, where I'm getting the stolen stuff from. Like, oh, all I have, by then I know it's about the laptop and everything. I'm like, all I have was a laptop. So they looking at it like they want to pin all thefts on me. Anything that was
All that
stolen.
stuff. They want to close all them
They want to
cases.
close all the cases. Yeah, they want to close all the cases on me. Um, so of course I'm playing it like, man, I watched First 48. I know what y'all trying to do, man. Y'all ain't got nothing. Let me
I
talk to
watch
my
first.
lawyer.
I watch first 48. I'm a lawyer.
Yeah, there you go. So one of the officers, man, I never forget him. I don't know what he doing now, but I wish the worst on him because he made my life. This wasn't our first run in, I tell you that. But this, I had never really been in trouble my whole life. So when I told him, man, I watched First 48, I know I'm talking shit. I'm like, yo, he came and whispered in my ear, yeah, and we found what was in your roof too. My heart dropped because I had my safe with all this cash money in there. That was my get out of jail
Fallback.
free card.
That's your fallback.
Oh, so that can you imagine how much that hurt? So they was telling me they were gonna seize my bank accounts the whole nine. I'm like, over this, you know. I mean, I was making money, but still in my mind, I'm still thinking this some white collar petty crime stuff. But they never seized the bank account, so I had enough money in there to kind of survive, help get a lawyer. But I ain't gonna lie, the majority of my money was in cash in that roof. So of course, my mom had to figure it out because when you get jammed up and lose everything, all them friends kind of fall by the wayside. So
And I've learned,
yeah,
man, all those times that, I was a frequent flyer when it came to in and out and issues and all of that
yeah,
stuff. But, I learn what I can, and I
yeah,
take all that stuff filtered me up until this point. Now my trajectory, my plans, what's coming in, my income, all of that, I have a very selected network,
yeah,
a tight group of friends. My friends in my inner circle now are people who are, I wouldn't say movers and shakers, but I definitely would say they got motion.
for sure.
Every- Everybody, when I pick up my phone and I talk, it's like I'm a thousandaire. I'm not a
Right,
millionaire. So my
right.
friends and stuff were Bill Gates and them talk to their friends about whatever their power lunch is. We
Yeah,
got little power lunches. We got
yeah.
little snacks. We talking
Straight
about,
up.
but it's motion. It's
Always.
motion. And I got nobody around that won't consider me enough where you will put in that much effort to one,
Right,
send me 20 bucks on canteen. Two, put $10 on the phone. Three, if
right,
these things are too difficult for you, we wouldn't make good friends.
right.
We don't make good friends because I go out of my way for people who, I ride
Right.
motorcycles. I've pulled over to gas stations so I can answer the phone and tell them off, hey, I'm on the phone. I'm
Yeah,
on the bike, hit me back later. Yeah, after 7. I know how it is.
yeah.
Stand in that line and wait. You know what I mean? And I value our friendship enough that I'll take this 3 minute
Right,
stop to and people, if you're not like that with me,
right,
no. What you're not gonna do is use me.
right,
I'm not like that. I'm not that guy.
right.
That cooter, that snatch ain't that good. I ain't gonna let you
I
just
feel you.
walk all over Merlin,
I
baby.
feel you.
So yeah, no.
I feel you.
So when you got out of that stuff, when you rose about them ashes,
Yeah.
what was the next move
Well,
as a
cra
hustler?
yeah, as a hustler, man, like I ended up getting out, but boy, I should have been done, but I wasn't quite done. I couldn't figure out how to make it without doing something because now I got legal bills. I still got child support. I still got my regular bills. I still got a lot. Make a long story short, I found another piece of equipment. And I started doing D because the game, it was some people that wouldn't messing with me, but a lot of people were like, yo, we been out here hurting. It was like the dope game. They're like, man, we out here hurting. This a drop. Ain't nothing popping, man. We need you, bro. Man, we'll shop with you. I'm like, man, all right, let's go. I need this money. So I started doing it again. It was a slow go, but I built myself back up and I built myself up higher than I was before. So now I'm feeling Teflon right here. I'm back really getting to the money. I'm back doing my Hustleman show, doing it. I'm back because that first one, I got a little probation, first offender, never been in trouble. All that was done. So I'm like, okay, all I got to do is not buy no hot stuff no more. They shouldn't mess with me. Later down the line, my pops, now he was a smoker. My pops was a smoker. So he would come by and ask me for $20. You know how that go. So by him coming to the house, he made my spot kind of hot. And we had the same name. So boom, same scenario happened again. Police come to the door. Boom, boom, boom. They holler out Robert Mitchell. They holler that's my name, but that's also my pop's name. So I'm thinking they looking for me. So I'm like, I had a chick at the house. I'm like, don't open the door. Don't do it. She's like, you ain't gonna get my head blowed off because we come from a city where stuff
They
goes
like that.
down.
They
Yeah,
like that.
it's like that. So she opened the door wide open, and I got stuff everywhere. I got DVDs. I'm back to the blockbuster look, the whole nine. This time, I'm not getting out so easy. I already made a name, made front page news, the whole nine. The first time, my name rang bells. So once they came in the door, they're like, "Oh, we were looking for your daddy, but we didn't know we were bumping into Hustle Man."
Hello.
Okay, same thing. Took everything, whole nine. So that was kind of the end of everything because I sat, I know some people did some major time. I sat in there 4 months, but them 4 months seemed like 4 years. Cause they literally took everything, put me on the news, put me in the newspaper. So I'm not gonna get a job when I get out of here.
Right.
But I didn't know the only way I was going to get out is either go to trial and face 10 years or possible 10 years in prison, or they banish me, give me 5 years probation with banishment. So they're going to
With,
kick me out the city
mm,
like Young Thug just got that. But they banished me from the whole Southern District. So I couldn't go to the next city over and stay with my cousins. I couldn't stay nowhere in South Georgia.
mm,
So my lawyer was like, listen, dude, you ain't even finished paying me because at this point, they done took it all. So he like, man, you ain't even finished paying on what you owe me. At this point, he done got 50 grand out of me.
mm.
And
Eating.
this is after the police took everything. So this is coming from mortgages. This is coming from loans.
This coming from the mud.
This coming from the mud. So I really ain't got it to give to you. So he's like, if we go to trial, they're going to be another 10 grand. I'm like, he say, but they got an offer on the table. You can take banishment for 5 years. You can't come home for 5 years. You can't come to South Georgia for 5 years with probation. You're gonna have to do community service. You're gonna have to pick up doo doo from the parks and all that type of stuff. But you're gonna have to move or possibly face 10 years. So I said, I'll take banishment for 1,000, Alex. So
Out the city.
yeah,
Respectfully.
yeah, respectfully,
right.
I guess I got a rise. So,
Right.
but
The
I
city
didn't
get it.
know you had to go immediately. I didn't know that. I'm thinking they're gonna give me time to, figure something out. I've been in jail. I lost everything. It was like, no. Soon as I got out, I had to report to the probation officer. He was talking crazy to me. And he was like, so where you gonna move? I'm like, well, I figure what I'm gonna do is get my stuff together, try to round up a little money, figure it out. He like, no, you need to be gone in 24 hours.
Mm,
What's the address you going to? I'm like, oh Lord, I don't know. Cause y'all done banished me from the whole Southern District. I don't even know. So one of my homeboys stayed in Atlanta and I hit him up. I'm like, listen, These people done banished me. I don't have nowhere to go. Can I crash on your couch until I figure it out? I know you gave me that offer before, but I was up then. You was like, hey, you can come stay with me till you get a crib. But I had money then. He was just like, they wanted me to move to Atlanta. I wasn't quite ready because I was getting that bag. So I'm like, I don't have the bag no more. Is that offer still good? He was like, yeah, man, come up here. You good. So mind you, I've been in jail. I'm on child support. So my license suspended because haven't been able to pay the child support. So my mom is an avid lottery player that never wins. So it just so happened she played and won $1,000 on a ticket. $1,000 would get my license back active, but $1,000 could also get me an apartment in the closest city, which was a place called Adel. They would allow me to go stay in Adel, and I had people there. So my mom like, do you want to figure your license out later and work with your cousin at the chicken plant, and we get you a little apartment, and you go to work with your cousin at the chicken plant, or you want to spend this $1,000, get your license in order, and go to Atlanta?
Chicken plant.
Chicken plant was
I
not
I'll
an
take
option.
I'll take. Oh, you want the license? You
I
gotta
want,
move.
I gotta go because
Yeah, I gotta move around.
I don't work warehouse, so it ain't really, I ain't mad at the chicken plant, but now I don't really feel, I mean, my name is plastered everywhere. Like I don't really want to be nowhere in that vicinity. So moved to Atlanta, slept on my homeboy couch, applied for jobs. I'm a felon now. So these jobs a little, a
Hard to come by. Yeah,
little harder to come by. So I ended up getting a job at a farmer's market and but a place called Sprouts. I don't know if you ever heard of Sprouts, but
yeah. Grocery
yeah.
store.
So I was gonna take anything, but then another warehouse, that a little auto part warehouse, called me. I ended up taking that job, and that put me back on my feet. But I think they knew about my past. Like when they pulled it up, they knew about the past, so they kind of treated me a little crazy at this job, but I needed it and I had to get to the money. So so hey, the DVD game over with now. People doing fire sticks and stuff now. So I wasn't gonna go back to DVDs. That was over. So I had to start from scratch, had to figure out a hustle. I ended up tapping into the fragrance game. And if you can see behind me, this is my personal collection. This is not even what I'm selling, but I tapped in. That's something I was always into, but I stumbled across the dealer, and I had my license still. So I got into the fragrance game, and that's what I'm doing and I end up getting another job, believe it or not, at the Georgia Lottery. So to this day, I am working at the Georgia Lottery and I am selling fragrances. And the fragrance game turned out to be maybe less profitable, but I've made more money with fragrances in 5 years than I made with the CDs and DVDs in 15.
Really.
It's a whole different ball game.
So let me ask you this. So you went from hustling DVDs and CDs and all that on the streets to the scents and the fragrances and whatnot. What is like the correlation between the two? Like, what's the correlation between those two hustles, if there's anything similar?
Well, the DVDs, only thing I loved about them is it made money. It was time consuming. I lost girlfriends. I lost living a lot of life. Even though I was doing celebrity stuff and interviews and all that, I could have did more of that, but I let the money consume me with the DVDs. I absolutely hated it. Absolutely hated it, but it made money. With the fragrances, this is the first time I'm doing something that I actually love. I always like fragrances. I always had a bunch of them. Now that TikTok exists, it's kind of a thing to talk about fragrances. But back then, it wasn't nothing to talk about. It was
You
just
had to find a fragrance connection.
right, right. So Now, I built relationships in this game, and I probably would have tapped out if I didn't have a love for it, but it's still, I'm still using the moniker because I built the brand with it. So people like maybe you shouldn't go by Hustle Man anymore, but that's how people know me.
That's the brand.
That's the brand. So I called my website shopwithhustle.com, and you go on there. And it started with selling clothes. I try to do clothes. I try to do other electronics and other little things, but nothing really popped like these fragrances. So even if you Google my website right now, you'll see that it's like they got a whole breakdown of, the great things I'm doing with these fragrances. And I do reviews. So instead of, I got some celebrity stuff, but we intertwining the fragrance stuff in with that. So now I can make money
That's
with
like your
that.
niche.
That's
That's
my
your,
niche. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
I like it. I like it. So let me ask you, do you remember the first your first biggest scent? The one scent that was your signature or is your signature.
Man, jump, I know people into Baccarat and Savage and all that stuff, but I don't want stuff that everybody else got. So when I found out about John Paul Gaultier, I don't know if you're familiar, but that's the one with the, I don't know if you can see it, but the little bodies right there,
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
make amazing fragrances. And I've been hooked ever since. I've smelled stuff that costs way more, but John Paul Gaultier, and for my higher end, Bun number 9, I love it. Those are my two favorites.
What have you learned from the old hustle and the CD game? What have you learned and took with you to this new and improved hustle man, the hustle man 2.0?
Well, I've learned that a old saying that I heard other business owners say, they say cheap prices bring problematic customers.
Mm,
And I ain't trying to talk about my DVD customers because they made me a lot of money. But boy, they gave me a lot of headaches too. And I appreciate it. With this game, fragrances, I got the real deal. There's no counterfeits or bootlegs in this game. And it's expensive. And this brought, some of my DVD people shot with me, but this brought a whole different clientele that they're not gonna ask you for the hookup as much. They're not gonna ask to cut a deal. They're not gonna ask 10,000 questions and stuff. I still get a lot of questions, but it's not. It's different, and you don't mind answering the questions because it's a nice little bag that's gonna come with these fragrances. But the DVDs did teach me patience. So when I get somebody that's hey, doing a little too much, I got the patience to deal with them. And it taught me to appreciate your customers and appreciate the money. Because once you lose it all, once you go to jail and a bar of soap and a clean washcloth is is good, and a bag of potato chips and honey buns is like everything, it brings you back down to reality. Like, I'm so appreciative of the people because now Junebug and Peanut ain't my competition. Junebug and Peanut was my competition with the DVDs. With the fragrances, I'm competing with Macy's. I'm competing with Neiman's. I'm competing with Saks, Nordstrom's, Bloomingdale's, Ulta, Sephora, major businesses. So I have to do something to get people to shop with me instead of them. So this is a whole different level of competition and challenge. So it really, taught me a few things, and you have to have patience. And some of those people that might not have it now, they might have it later. Because during the pandemic, when everybody was getting checks, I'm glad I treated everybody equal. Because the people that couldn't buy nothing then, they had plenty of money and they shopped with me. So I definitely appreciate all that.
and I know similarly to your point, I do a lot with cars,
Yeah.
dibble and dabble. And I kind of we what we do is kind of custom cars. Someone will tell me a specific dollar amount that they have, the car that they want, we'll outfit it, with the rap and the music and whatever to fit in that budget, and then I'll finance them, whatever it is, and I put my little dollar amount in there. So what's what I identify with you is the bigger cars that I sell, the 20, $25,000 cars, there's rarely the negotiation fight
Right.
is with a guy that has like 5 grand, 3 grand. And
Right.
like the guys with like the money understand that like that's the price of the car. I've got that on the sticker, 19,995. But he understands that there's tax, tag, and title. There's finance fees and all of that. They understand that and they fit. A guy that comes with 3,500 probably only has 3,200. And if he does have the 3,500, that is his bar that we need to fit all that wiggle and put in because he's probably got about 100, $200 for gas and the
Right.
rest of the necessities and scraping by, for insurance or whatever. It's just two different type of customers. So like the higher end, definitely, I
Yeah.
definitely get you.
For
I
sure.
definitely get you on that.
For sure.
So where do you see Hustle Man, your brand, your fragrances, where do you see Hustle Man in 5 years?
In 5 years, man, I plan on getting into TV shows. I want to be the Tyler Perry. At some point, I always wanted to do that. Things just kept happening where I didn't really get into the production of sitcoms and movies and all that. But hey, I don't mind shooting a few Tubi movies before we get to the blockbuster. You know what I'm saying? And with the fragrances, I have you can't really see my sign up there, but lifestyles of the rich and fragrance. That's a whole thing I'm doing
Oh,
with
rich and fragrant.
the rich and
Fragrance.
fragrance, man. So
Okay.
I want to bring on guests, which I already have started doing, but bring on guests and we talk about whatever they working on and all that, but we talk fragrance and smell fragrance and get their opinions on different things. So now if I interview Rick Ross, we gonna sit right here or sit somewhere and we gonna talk fragrance and I'm gonna have the fragrances lined up and we gonna discuss your album and that type of stuff, but it's gonna be fragrance. That's something that hasn't been done. They got the chicken wing, the hot
I
ones.
was literally thinking that, like,
Yeah,
oh, we do have that chicken
yeah,
based interview.
right. So something similar where they go sneaker shopping, they got the sneakers
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they,
yeah.
so nobody's doing that with fragrance. Fragrance is becoming a big thing now. So I want to be that guy when you think fragrance. Oh, we gotta holler at Hustleman to know what we need and get the info from him because he be knowing. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to build that with the fragrance, but in the bigger picture, do some movie and TV production and own everything like
See,
Tyler
that's the
Perry.
key. That's the key. Own what you do.
Own it.
Own what you do.
Absolutely.
When at what moment did you say to yourself, "This is it. Like this can be a thing"? Do you remember like what? When did you know what? I can make this a thing.
When my fragrance reviews started doing bigger numbers than my celebrity interviews,
Mm,
that's when I realized I think I'm in this little niche little thing with these fragrances because I drop a fragrance review. I got some that got 50,000 views in a day. I dropped the celebrity view, celebrity interviews. Some of them can't even reach 500. So now I'm like, oh, they really messing with me in this world because the algorithm went a different way. The celebrity stuff going some everywhere, but the fragrance is not too many, major players like that in the fragrance game. Then I befriended a lot of the other fragrance reviewers and guys and girls, and I'm kind of moving up in that community. So if I want to do celebrity stuff, I need to bring them into the fragrance world because that's what's doing the numbers. So that's when I kind of knew, yeah, I'm on to something with these fragrances for sure.
and I like that it's different.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's not like you must know like a lot more, and you know that niche and everything. So,
Yeah.
but like to me, who's not in that, and you know, I just do my little motorcycle stuff and everything. Oh, there's Hustle Man. Let me look at. Oh, he's kind of that guy on fragrance.
Yeah.
And then, like when you've been doing it a while, you
Yeah.
become uh, uh, a guy, a go-to guy.
Yeah.
Then you become like an expert.
Yeah.
And one thing like I've been learning, and you know, Matt is mentors me in this stuff.
Yeah.
Him and his team, they kind of give me sensational advice. And what sticks out in my head is if you enjoy whatever you're gonna do, enjoy it so
There
that
you go.
it's not work.
Right.
So and you can have a passion behind it, and
Right.
then there can be a comfortability in what you do, and
Right.
then that sincerity and that authenticity shines through
It
with whatever it
does.
is you do.
Hmm.
Because like with anything, I get this a lot. Like, hey man, you know, I got this great idea, and they pitch it, and I'm like, that sounds sensational. It also sounds identical to the seven other ideas I heard this week. And out of all that, if all y'all get together, you may have about 10% of the effort that I do into what I enjoy. And if you want to be successful, like you're not going to make three videos and on your fourth, bam, that's that viral moment. Like it can't happen. You've got to do 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, a year's worth of getting 30 views,
Right.
17 views before you get catch on. And then once you catch on, those people be like, oh, this is a guy. Let me go back and look at all of his stuff. And then you
Yeah.
get this more and more viewers. Then you get bigger and bigger. Then you got people be like, well, let me see who he was and how he was in the beginning. So
Right.
they'll go back to, so you're going to eat off of all that old
Yeah.
stuff. You're going
Yeah.
to eat, but you
Yeah.
got to make it, man. You
Yeah.
don't have guys that's got four, five, seven pieces of content and they've got 100,000 subscribers and
Right.
followers. You know, you got to put in the work,
You
and
do.
that's what it's with everything.
Absolutely.
There's going to be a guy now that is huge. I know a lot of them that love cologne, and when you go to the bathroom, they've got something like your stand in back of you. They've got a
Yeah.
ton of cologne, and they'll be watching this and be like, "Man, I can do that."
Yeah.
And they've got 20% of your drive. So they're
Yeah.
not going to be doing the films, they're not going to shoot, and they're not going to keep the content rolling,
Right.
even if it is driving under the spooky bridge.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. Even if it's that, it's views, it's
Yeah.
creating a bond and a link with your viewers, with the guys
Yeah.
that follow Hustle Man and want to know what the hell Hustle Man doing before work.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And guys just don't have that in them, but they want the notoriety. They
Right.
want people to go to their page and they've got all these, they just don't want to put in the work. So
That's
kudos to
true.
you for seeing the vision,
For sure.
for taking the title Hustle Man, putting it
Yeah.
on your back and doing
Oh
that.
yeah. For
You know?
sure. For sure.
So you've never been like to prison and none of that
Yeah.
stuff.
I never been to prison. Um, I've been to jail a few times, but let me tell you, the Lowndes County Jail is people in Lowndes County begging to go to prison. The people who already been sentenced, they begging, please take me on to prison. That's how bad that place is down there.
Mhm.
It's jail ain't supposed to be a vacation, but down there is like inhumane because a lot of people don't know Lowndes County was number one in the state of Georgia for hangings and lynchings back in the day.
Mhm.
So a lot of that energy is still down there.
And it's not the misconception with that is it's not black and white.
Yeah.
It's blue. It's inmate.
Yes.
Inmate
Yes.
is the new niggering.
Yeah.
In so you
Inmate.
are less than a person as
Right.
an inmate.
Right.
You know, we'll stand over there, and then we'll have you group of inmates stand over there for our convenience for hour, 30
Yeah.
minutes. We'll
Yeah.
stack and pile you. You're less than what we treat, what we call being civil. They're
Right.
not civil in that place. And I for one, hate it. I'm kind of always there, but I for one hate it, and like you literally get tired of it.
Yeah, and you are state's property, which means you are still a slave.
Hmm.
You might be a slave to the government, to the powers that be, but being state property, you just like a mailbox.
Yep, you're gonna work for us
Yeah,
for free.
yeah,
You're gonna maintain this place and like it.
yeah,
If in your life's journey that's brought you to right here, if you could make a fragrance that was Hustle Man, this is the embodiment of Hustle Man, and this is his life.
yeah,
What would that fragrance? You got it. You're gonna rebottle it. Out of
yeah.
all those bottles, all of you, what would it be, and why?
um, that's a good one there now. I'm still a nice guy after all I've been through, and I like sweet fragrances too. So it'll still be some sweetness in there. Um, I'm a little different. I like to do things. People might kind of follow this straight and narrow road. I like to be different, so we gonna throw some spice in there. We gonna spice it up. I'm gonna always be different than everybody else. And I feel like I'm a man's man. I can get with my emotions, but I am a masculine man, so we gonna throw some smoke in there with it too. We gonna make it a little smoky.
A little smoky, a little hickory.
Little hickory, little woody note in there,
Right.
give it that masculinity to it too. So I think if I had to put a fragrance together, it would consist of some of those things. We got the sweet, we got the smoky, and the woody, but it's gonna be something strong. And that's definitely what I am. Whatever it is, it's gonna be strong. It's
Little
not
something
gonna fade
strong.
away.
We gonna know you in the building.
Yeah,
Whatever
you
it is.
gonna know I'm in the building for sure. Yeah, man.
That's what's up, man. I was watching your interview with old Matt Cox and
Yeah,
stuff, and
man.
I'm like, yeah, man, I gotta get old Hustle Band on the show.
Yeah.
I mess with Atlanta. Atlanta is I get mixed reviews from Atlanta. Like I get people who are from Atlanta down here in Florida, and yeah, man, I had to get out of there. I had to
Yeah.
leave Atlanta. I got a lot of people from here trying to get to Atlanta.
Hmm.
Wait, I'm gonna move around here, man. I got to go to Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta, Riverview, Riverdale, and
Yeah.
I frequent in Atlanta a lot. I had a house in Duluth, Georgia, for a little
Okay.
while when I was getting some money. I
Yeah.
had a house in Duluth, a house in Chattanooga, and then I had got a house in Temple Terrace,
Okay.
Florida. So I was kind of moving around and stuff. But during my time in Atlanta, man, I loved it.
Yeah.
Like I'm from New York, so I love a city,
Yeah.
and I like. And then it like Georgia is weird in the sense that like you'll be downtown Atlanta, skyscrapers,
Yeah.
drive for 30 minutes, and you might see horses,
Yeah.
or you see a bunch of woods,
Yeah.
and like the native people are different. Like their country, like
Yeah.
you ain't been driving but for an hour. And it feels like
Yeah.
you're in all the way in North Dakota somewhere because like the people are kind of
Yeah.
different. There's like a different vibe. Atlanta has a very edgy city-like vibe. The people are city. I didn't have this. I wasn't traumatized by Atlanta at all. Like I love it. I love the city, like walking around. I'm a city guy. I like the people. I like scams everywhere, and you got to watch. And these old
Scam
shite.
Lama.
Yep. And these cats are shiesty. I like it. I don't trust anybody anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm right at home with that. Yes, I love the fact that like I would go into a Home Depot and the manager would be a black man with dreads.
Yeah.
I like that. And he's professional.
Yeah.
Or he could be, there's a guy going to racetrack in a suit and tie, and he's got the locks, it neat, or he's got like this urban edge to him, but
Yeah.
he's a career guy.
Yep.
I like that, seeing all shades and colors of my
Yeah.
people like that because it's just too much. I see other.
Yeah.
I see what's going on in the Walmart parking lots way too much,
Yeah.
you
For
know.
sure. For sure.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of Atlanta.
I I I'm starting to grow. People always saying that I don't like Atlanta, and sometimes I say I don't. Of course, the traffic is killer, but you from New York, so that's light work to you. Um, but of course, the traffic is crazy. But the one of the main things I don't like about Atlanta, it is the new Hollywood. Everybody think they somebody here, and it don't matter if you got $2 or 2 million, you somebody. The coolest people in Atlanta to me are the people born and raised in Atlanta. The ones that be like, yeah, shout, you know what I'm talking about, goddamn, you know what I'm talking about, shout all that. Them, that's real Atlanta. Them folks pretty cool. The older people that's in their 40s, 50s, 60s, that's been here their whole life, they so cool. But it's the people that's migrated here that's kind
Claiming the
of,
city now,
yeah,
bringing other ways to Atlanta. We
yeah,
don't
that's
rock
it.
like that.
That's it. That's the thing that kind of make Atlanta. A lot of people got a little stuck up attitude because like I say, you might have been popping in your city, or you might think you Hollywood. Cause everybody I done been on the rap game. I done been on a TV show, with Jermaine Dupri and them. I done been on that. And everybody done been on TV. Everybody done dated a celebrity. Everybody. So that made them, they cousin this little baby. So everybody feel like they somebody, and I come from a country town where everybody, hey Junebug, how you doing? Hey, do you know the people at the bank? Hey, Miss Glory Jean, I'm sending my mama up there with my check. Can you cash my check for me, Miss Glory Jean? Appreciate it. I come from that. So when you get up here, people are like, ugh, you breathing the same air I breathe. Ugh. And not everybody. It's some good. I met some great people here. It just a lot of people think they more than it's okay to feel good about yourself, but don't mistreat people. I never wanted to be like that, and I don't like people that do that. And I've encountered that a lot in Atlanta. So that's the only thing that I really don't like. Outside of that, black people are doing good. You get to see people that look like you. That's a doctor, that's a governor, that's a mayor, city councilman, uh DA, judge, everybody is black.
Mhm.
The managers, let me speak to your manager. It's gonna be another black person. You're gonna have to keep digging to find somebody that's not black. But let me speak to your manager, and it's gonna be black people keep coming. So I love that part. So it's the up in opportunities. You might bump into something by mistake, and it might turn
That's
you
the
into a
beauty.
millionaire.
It's the beauty of being in a city.
Yeah.
But I think to speak to what you said, um, I think that's a 2000s this era thing where people not only are like I have a superiority complex. So I do think that there's this grand something in me, right? But it doesn't cause me to think that you're lower than me
Right.
because I think I'm here. I'm not going to condescend on you. I'm not going to drag you down to make me higher. I just have a high self opinion of myself. It's why I do push ups, or it's
Yeah.
why you know, I'm in the shower for 30 seconds of cold to try to, just as a mental strengthening exercise. I saw that somewhere on YouTube. It kind
Yeah,
of
I've
stuck
seen
with
that
me.
too. Yeah.
It stuck with me. And so I kind of
Yeah.
do it as a thing. But like, so I like to think highly of myself. I think that is a great thing because the opposite of that self-doubt and all of that is cancerous. So, I try to, but where it goes wrong, I feel like lately that's a thing. Like women I see got this attitude like I'm bad and like I don't even have to pay you attention. That like
Right.
stuck up Paris Hilton vibe or whatever. And it's like, lady, and they're And you see on their pages, they're talking about how they're angry because they're single and because men aren't poop.
Right.
It's kind of you. You're not meeting any good men because you're pushing them away.
Right.
You think you deserve a man that has six figures when your only skill is your face.
Mm.
I can't say that it's your butt because you bought it.
Mm.
So and that's the vibe of today.
Right.
And even in the men are different.
Yep.
Like I've never seen a more emotional man. And by emotion, I mean feminine emotion.
Yeah.
Like you're getting so angry so fast. It's identical to a woman, except you just use man language. The
Mm.
woman slaps her thighs. These hoes can't take me. These hoes, and the men will say, "Man, these niggas got me fucked up. These got me fucked up." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I ain't. It's the same emotional reaction.
Yeah.
Whereas, like when I was growing up, my kind of like the hood figures and OGs and all that was just stoic. And this was the gangster thing to do. Be heard very little. I only talk to certain guys. Now, you're not gangster unless you're showing your collection of guns on IG.
Right.
And like Queens, where I'm from, like you had to be somebody to know who the somebodies were, the
Right.
movers and shakers and stuff. It's very different. I don't knock anything. I'm non-judgmental. It's just as different. Like guys, the masculine line is blurred. A lot more. It's more fashionable to wear pink. It's more fashion. It's there are men bonnets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and I'm not gonna say nothing about T-Bone with the bonnet on because I know T-Bone rock like T-Bone, but that line is blurred these
Yeah.
days.
It is. It is.
But thank you very much. We're gonna bring this here to a wrap.
Okay.
And all of Hustleman's links will be in the description below. Y'all make sure y'all go check him out. He's got some sensational fragrances, but you'll find on his IG, you can find the link where you can grab everything. Everything. He's got a list of stuff that you can grab for the low.
For the low.
Yeah, for the low. But thank you guys for tuning in. And remember, we are giving away the Six Chronicles t-shirt here very soon here. I've already reached the 1,000 mark. So the next video, I'll have something where I'm gonna draw some of you guys. I'm gonna just draw a random subscriber and put that in the video. So you'll have to keep watching and I'll get that t-shirt sent out to you guys. So make sure you guys stay tuned. If you've been on the channel for this, if you've watched this for this long, we appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. And if you are not subscribed and you're watching this, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Peace.